What's good? What's good? What's good? Salute, salute, salute. The streets are buzzing. What's good, family? Knicks Nation out here. Hope everybody is well, ready to have another great conversation. And it's 24/7. We always say this New York Knicks news cycle. There's always plenty to chop up. And it's Saturday night. The feeling is right. And how's everybody doing out here? I'm enjoying this off season and chopping it up with you all, Knicks family. And a salute to the chat, the best in the biz. Well, lots to talk about tonight as well. I know it's in the dog days of the off season, but there was some news drop about the season schedule leaks, and it looks like the season schedule, the full schedule, is going to drop in a matter of days. So early next week is the talk about that. So that got me pumped. That got me excited, amped. I'm ready, buzzing, and we can pencil in the games we want to see, the games we're going to, all of that thing, linking up, chopping it up like we do. And our Knicks family, the best fan base in the world, and I'm hyped. You know, I describe this season in one word. I would say fun. You know, there's going to be lots of ups and downs like there usually is, but it's going to be fun. You know, we made some changes, some additions from the coaching situations to veterans, to some players, young players returning. The Spider Mitchell talk is dying down at the moment, but there, you know, is still plenty of time for that move to happen. Chopping it up with everyone last night, I put it at still slightly above 50% that Spider is a Knick before the season begins. But of course, who really knows? And I think Danny Ainge is willing to drag this thing out. And so far, the Knicks are staying firm with that thing. And shout out to everyone in the chat. King Puppy, Wayne, salute. What's good, Keith? Sharp Powers, Wilson, let's go. Wilson Dang, and Drizzy, JJ, salute. What's good? Sherwin, hope you're well. Bonson, let's get it. Still Dre, what's good? And Lily Phillips, appreciate you as well. Everyone joining in. Replay gang, salute to you. Now let's kick things off with the good, the bad, and the ugly, like we usually do. And of course, we have to start with Jalen Brunson's shout out as well. I met a former teammate and Dallas Mavericks wing, Josh Green, yesterday in my city, Melbourne, in a store appearance. We chopped it up as well. I didn't expect it to be picked up by Brunson, but that just shows further, what the kind of character guy and the player we're getting as a New York Knick, which we'll talk about tonight. But yeah, that was beautiful to see him shout his former teammate out and good close friend. very close friend. Jalen Green told me that Brunson was his closest friend on the team. He's going to miss him and his impact, and he feels like he's going to be great on the Knicks, of course. I didn't quite think about how close they were in age. When I did ask Josh, did Jalen take him under his wing? He just laughed and he said he's young. So he's still young. That did hit home. Jalen Brunson is really only 25, 26. So he's young himself as well. So he's not really taken no one under his wing. He's just a great teammate, a great good guy. He used to describe a good guy, high character guy, and that's just really going to be great for our locker room. I feel, in terms of we've been needing this leader in the locker room for quite a while, just somebody who's vocal, somebody who can lead by example and get along with the veterans and the young players as well. So Brunson could be not only one of our best players, but a glue guy as well, which is absolutely invaluable as well. So shout outs to that, Brunson, as well. It's still sinking in that we have our point guard now as well. Talk did die down when the Spider, rumors hit fever pitch, but that, we still have plenty of time to still wait till this season and chop up the Brunson acquisition. And of course, there was some comments from a former Knick, a point guard, Brandon Jennings, as well, which is getting some attention. Made some really, really interesting quotes to me as well that did hit home about the current state of the game and hitting home about, player empowerment and all of those things. We'll get into a lot of those comments tonight. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on what Jennings had to say as well, because I didn't really hear many lies about that. It's a sensitive topic. But to me, the product itself, the NBA is growing in revenue, attention, all of those things due to the digital platforms and all of this, 24/7 news cycle. However, the product, the quality of the product itself, has suffered and gone down, in my opinion. And number 6 is forever now retired as well. I haven't had a chance to speak on that yet, but I think it was a classy move as well, a classy move. And of course, we'll talk about, the current players that are wearing number 6 are still allowed to wear that number. It would be interesting to see whether, who holds on to it, or out of respect, changes their number as well. But I think that was a classy move from the NBA. So no longer number 6. Quentin Grimes will be the last New York Knick to wear that number. One of my favorite numbers as well. If I was a baller, I would probably choose number 6 as well if I could. And the preseason schedule dropped yesterday, and we got some season schedule leaks as well today to chop up. And the regular season schedule is going to drop in a matter of days as well. So I'm absolutely hyped for that. And the Pro-Am City Hoops. Like we talked about yesterday, the Pro-Am, reading into these losses, right? It's a glorified scrimmage, and they are like an all-star game. Basically, players just having fun out there, giving back to their communities. It's just, it really upsets me when people read too much into the results of those games. It's just players having fun out there. And of course, some of the players are taking it more seriously than others as well. And we all know what the deal is with the talk about the Spider deal must be on the same level as the Gobert deal as well. So far, that's not happening, right? The market has completely dried up with that. And the ugly, still the New Jersey Nets. Tomorrow, it'll still be the New Jersey Nets. And a week from now, it'll still be the New Jersey Nets. The New York Knicks, it's going to be fun this season with those battles. We talked about the power rankings, which we'll hit on again today, but the power rankings have the Nets sliding, and the New York Knicks could be the best team in New York this season as well. And not only that, but we are the most stable franchise in New York right now. So let's continue to sink the boot in while we can. And the tampering stuff, I don't think much will come of that, but hopefully the Knicks don't get no penalty as well. And of course, there's sources to look out for, and Danny Ainge's demands as well. Yes, salute to everyone out here in the chat. Let's get to the comments as well as I bring up the graphic as well. Those that haven't seen, Jalen Brunson's shout out for us, all of us on the show everyone that makes this show what it is. Appreciate you all. It was exciting to see this pop through. I was live yesterday when we were chopping it up, meeting Josh Green, and getting the quotes from him about Jalen Brunson. I tagged Josh Green, of course. Next thing I know, the chat's telling me that Brunson's popped it on his story as well. So that was straight fire as well. Yep, like everyone out here appreciates that. What I wanted to speak on was, just elaborate more about yesterday and what this means for the Knicks. We're getting a guy who is a solid teammate. He values relationships. Him and Josh Green. Like I said, Josh told me that Jalen was his closest friend on the team. Well, another young guard, and just the guys that they FaceTime regularly, and had nothing but great things to say about him. Obviously, he didn't seem too happy because he's going to miss him. Josh Green is a Dallas Maverick. He didn't really open up a lot about what the Knicks are getting, but we know what we're getting because he's missing out. The Dallas Mavericks have lost a good one with that thing, but yeah, it was just great to hear a guy glow about the player we're getting as a character guy first and foremost. He's a good guy and he's still young as well. And I put the tweet up, Jalen and Josh going back and forth in December, appreciating each other on Twitter as well. And then we have an image of Obi Toppin, the Knicks young core with Obi, IQ, Grimes, RJ, Mitch, all of these things, right? We're getting our leader. We're getting this on-court, off-court leader that we've been needing so far as well. And the fact that Jalen Brunson, he's all business, basically. He's on Instagram, not a whole lot, but he'll shout out a teammate whenever he gets that chance, right? It's just it doesn't faze him. He's here for hoops, and he's going to be focused, I think, and he's going to come in and he's going to really have a positive impact on this team, to the likes that we may not even understand yet fully as well. Yep. And Drizzy, salute. Facts. CT6 was my number as well, playing ball. I love that number. Yep. Facts, right? It's a topic that is I'm glad the NBA did it. You're basically, fam, I really think it's a classy move for the NBA to retire number 6. It's a great number, but yeah, it'll forever be in the rafters now with every team. Sherwin says my favorite player as a child was Dr. J. Yep. Salute Parish Duggar. What's good? Salute. Yep. Sharp Power said I'm kind of tall. Josh Green, I think he's 6'5". I think 6'5", 6'6". Yeah, I'm 6 feet myself. I'd like to be taller. Appreciate that, fam. Yeah, can't be mad at that. It's always nerve-wracking standing next to an NBA baller, especially a taller one. But thankfully, Josh ain't too tall for me. Otherwise, I would have looked like a dwarf probably out here. In the middle there, I was just chopping it up. At that time, that was when Josh was telling me that he FaceTimed Jalen recently, and that's when obviously Jalen got the tag and he jumped on it straight away. So that just shows that the relationship between those two is real. And I'm starting to think now, like, let's get Josh Green over here at some point. If we need some wing help, we need some defensive wing help. I'm rooting for Josh Green. As a fellow Australian, an Olympic bronze medalist for my country. And Josh came into the league with a lot of defensive potential and offensive, improvements, that could really round out his game as well, coming out of Arizona. But great guy. Appreciate Josh for that. Great opportunity to meet him and talk to him briefly. And the fact that he, clapped back as well at Brunson, that said first and last time as well. It's all love there with that thing. So yeah, you got to really appreciate these down-to-earth players as well that shout people out, and they keep these relationships. Whether you change teams or not, the NBA is all about relationships. Like I said, one day Josh Green could find himself on the Knicks or somewhere else. but obviously those guys went to battle together in the Western Conference, and I really appreciated, hearing about that and talking to him about, what the Knicks are getting and what he's going to miss with Jalen. Yeah, with that said, Jalen Brunson, the on-court leadership is what's got me most excited. Leadership on and off the court. Yeah, basically. Shah Legacy, what's good? And Juju92 and Jamie, what's good, fam? King Puppy, I wouldn't mind Josh in the orange and blue. Yep. Now you're on the same thoughts, fam. Yep. This is no tampering. This is just keeping PR relations out here. But let's say the Knicks did lose Fournier or we did lose Grimes, right? We're going to need some wing depth help with that thing, right? If these two are boys, these two guys are real tight, then you would have to think, Jalen would try to keep this going and try to keep that partnership up, perhaps. Yeah, but appreciate everyone's support with this, and people sending their appreciation, love with all that. It's definitely appreciated with that. But yeah, with Jalen Brunson, it's all business from here on out. For Jalen Brunson, he's going to be a great teammate for these guys, that leader that we need, the vocal guy to get guys in the locker room focused as well. And he's going to get everyone else easier shots, easier looks, elite in the pick and roll action. Like we talked about yesterday, there is a situation where with Ian Begley's latest article, Jalen Brunson is immediate value add with the Knicks offense in the loudest area of guard play by providing the team with a bona fide high efficient pick and roll play. So yeah, that's what we need with this thing, right? Obi, Mitch, Randall, great pick and roll play with Brunson, RJ getting him open spot up looks and all those things. Yep, Johnny says, yep, Brunson all business. Yep, absolutely facts, fam. By the way, that Savior interview was stupid. Leave our guy alone. I didn't see that one there. And Drizzy, Cam Reddish is looking nasty in his video. Yeah, he's got a big year coming up. And Drizzy, with that, yeah, Cam, whether he's on the Knicks or not, I think Cam is going to really have a big year ahead. They were put in a position to lose with point guard Alec Burks. Dirty Dancer, yep. I think last season was a nightmare with the point guard situation. And finally, that's what really got me excited now with the appreciation of having Jalen up in here as well. Yeah, I've not seen that one either. Showing. David L., the 49% mid-range all day, every day. Brunson, let's go Knicks. Yep, facts. Mid-range, three-point shooting, all of that, fam. He's going to bring the shooting and the assist, playmaking and all of those things to the Knicks. And, don't sleep on his D. I know he's not known as a defensive player, and most of the thought process is that he's a liability as well. But he's stocky, he's big, he's strong, he's tough. Obviously, length. Length is going to be, is Jalen's downfall. But yeah, don't sleep on his toughness is what I'm trying to say, right? He's built for this. And Jamie, do I think Randall will be here when the season starts? Yeah. Great question, which we still think about to this day. And I think it's 50-50 because, Jamie, the talk is that Spider, is still likely to be that Nick. And if he's a Nick, then Randall, there's talk that he will be gone. So I'm putting it at 50-50, me personally, with that. But how about yourself? What do you feel is going to shake out with that situation? JJ says Sherwin Obi was efficient from the field, but not from three. RJ and Randall were the ones really inefficient from the field, and the ball moved way more when RJ and Randall were out. that's facts. Yeah, I completely agree, JJ, with that, because yeah, those guys were our isolation scorers, and they were tasked to help us deliver the points, to help us win. Hart and Brunson are incredibly efficient. We're looking up. Yep. I'm so excited, Dirty, with those acquisitions, fam. Yep. We definitely got that going now. And yet Sean says Obi was shooting less than 20% from the field before April. Okay. Yep. So yeah, we know Sean, you're a big Randall fan. Appreciate that as well. You're not a fan of Obi. And Dimes and Knicks says Jalen is built to deal with New York, right? Absolute facts. Yep. He's going to absolutely thrive, Dimes. You dropped a dime there. He's in familiar surroundings, fam. He's got family around him. He chose this situation as well. He wanted to be here. He could have been in Dallas for that extra year, but he just said, nah, the Knicks is where I want to be, fam. I want to wear the orange and blue. And still keeping relations, shouting teammates out, but building new relationships, in the pro city circuit, getting out there with Obi as well. I cannot wait to see him run pick and roll with Mitch, with Obi, with Randall if he's here, with everyone basically getting out there and bringing his craftiness, right? Don't sleep on Brunson's handles as well. He's stocky, he's tough, he's thick, and he'll draw fouls. He'll get in guys. He's one of the most shiftiest, toughest guys to guard, in isolation. Yep. Yep. Shah says, yeah, big facts, CT, not the size of the dog. Yep. Yep, absolutely, fam. Yep, you hit with that. And with that said, yeah, let's chop up some schedule leaks as well. This is what we know so far of what I caught that was dropped today. And we have Shams, who has leaked or revealed that the opening night for the NBA season and the ring ceremony is on TNT with the Lakers at the Warriors, October 18. So that's a very early start when you think about it, fam. Look at the preseason schedule for the Knicks: October 4, 7, 12, and 14, right? And then just days later, October 18 is opening night. So absolutely buzzing with this thing. I'm giddy about this situation, right? But Lakers and Warriors, that'll be interesting. Good ratings for the league as well. Ain't mad at that. Give the Knicks a bit of extra time as well with the opening nights. Let the anticipation build. The Brunson, the Knicks buzz, the Spider buzz, that's going to continue to build. The longer the Knicks' first game is. What are your thoughts on that matchup? Chat, ladies and gents. Then Mark Stein talks about some Christmas Day stuff as well. Lakers at Dallas, LeBron at Luka, Christmas Day as well. Big season ahead for both those teams, both those players. A lot at stake for LeBron's legacy. LA, what's going to happen with that situation? Is Kyrie going to be there? I think Kyrie will be a Laker. I think he'll be there by opening night. I think that's the move to happen. And Dallas, of course, they signed Christian Wood. They bring most of their core back, and they've got, I think, Dinwiddie still as well. Yeah, what's going to happen with the Dallas? The Western Conference finalists. They've lost Brunson, and they're going to really have to fill that void with that situation. With that, and then we have Memphis at the Warriors again on Christmas Day. Another Christmas Day matchup. Great matchup there. Memphis at Warriors. A young up-and-coming Memphis team full of dogs, ready to get after it as well. Steph Curry and co. trying to defend their championship, their title with that situation. So, yeah, that's what I've seen drop so far, and I'm looking forward to next week, fam. Absolutely buzzing with this thing. And, of course, how could we not talk about this a bit further with the current situation with number 6? So happened earlier last week or this week. Number 6 retired. What does that mean for the Knicks? That means Quentin Grimes will be the last New York Knick to wear number 6. Well, a beloved number. And I think it's the right move for the NBA. Like I said, I agree with it. But I'm also glad that players still get to wear number 6 as well. So, it was a win-win for me. And I think, Quentin Grimes, hopefully, I'm praying he's a New York Knick for a long time. Long time, and he can continue to wear that number 6 as well. But then after that, it'll be bye-bye, farewell to number 6 as well. Salute to Bill Russell and everything that his legacy and everything he's created as well. That's what it's all about, really. That's what this thing is all about with this thing. Sherwin says, CT, I am a Knicks fan. Randall, I do like more than Obi because he is better. I'm not a fan of any player. I'm partial to Mitch and Cam because I've been watching them when they were children. Yeah, I appreciate that for putting that out there on record, Sherwin, as well. Yep, I do know you like Randall more than Obi as well, but you are a Knicks fan, which is most important, first and foremost. Yep, absolutely. King Puppy, Jalen Brunson and D Rose have the highest IQ on this team. Yep, have to agree. You hit it with that. You hit Brunson and D Rose, right? Steady point guard play. And let me ask all of you, how long do you think Derek will be a Knick? Because that is a situation that's going to be interesting. I do think Rose will be traded, I think, at some point this season. I really do. I think about the trade deadline all-star break period, I think D Rose, it'll be time to open up some more minutes. If Quick's still here, if Deuce is still here with that situation, right? But we have a dynamic bench now with D Rose returning, with IQ, with Cam, with maybe Fournier off the bench as well. Again, it's tough to chop up the entire roster and not knowing who's going to be here still. But, I'm talking about things like Spider deal hasn't happened yet. So I'm appreciating every player on this roster at the moment and assuming that they'll be here opening night still. Yeah, David says, interesting to see what Mitch does on starting minutes and Grimes, IQ, McBride on the bench. Yeah, like I just hit on too. Yeah, that's what I love about the bench situation. But I do hope Grimes is our starter, David. I really hope we're going to need a defensive punch with Quentin in the starting unit, and IQ could develop further and get some starting minutes if an injury happens or something. But I still like a bit of size, so I like RJ. Yeah, RJ and Grimes at the 2 and 3. Yep, 3 and 2, 2 and 3. RJ and Grimes with that. And McBride, interesting season. I think this season's going to make or break McBride's Knick career with this thing, right? Good point, Sherwin, as well. Kobe, should his number be retired, number 24 as well? I think that is probably something that I would not be surprised, Sherwin, if it happens in the future. Yep. I really think it might be a little early because, obviously Kobe, recently passed, bless him and his family, and, rest in peace. But yeah, Kobe, recently passed, so that could be something that the NBA look at in the future. I think you hit it with that. Yes, Bonson, the no-look pass from Brunson to Obi was nasty, and a preview of things to come. Those two in the pick and roll, lethal. Absolutely on point there, fam. I'm excited. I cannot wait to see more of that. Yep, King Puppy, it depends on his health too. Yep, completely agree. Yep, can he stay healthy? We know what he can do if D Rose stays healthy with this situation. Yep. Sharp Hours, you have to trade 2 you have to trade 3 players for Spider and make salary, who would it be? Yep. If I had to trade 3 players for Spider and make salary, who would it be? It would have to be Fournier. It would have to be Fournier, and then it would have to be probably Deuce and IQ. Yep. Or Fournier, IQ, and another, maybe another veteran minimum guy, if that's the situation. Yeah, because I want to keep Obi, I want to keep Grimes the most. But then if you trade IQ, then you might need Deuce as some insurance as well. So that's still a tough question, Shah. But yeah, it'd be Fournier and IQ and someone else to help salary, a veteran minimum or something. Yeah, Dimes and Knicks. Do you think Mitch can average a double-double this season? Yep, absolutely he can. Yeah, I think he really can, fam. He's going to come in a beast. He's going to be motivated, is Mitch. He's learnt a lot in his first 3 seasons. He's finally got the bag. I think he's going to come in super motivated. I'm glad you asked that question, because I don't think Mitch is getting enough talk. You know, it's still early in the offseason, but with the Brunson and the Spider thing and the Hartenstein, the Mitch thing sort of got overlooked a bit more, and that we cannot forget about our starting center with this thing. David, Evan and RJ, Brunson, Randall, Mitch starting. Yep, that's the most likely lineup. Yep. If I had to put money on it right now, David, I would prefer Evan swapped with Grimes with that situation. Yep. And yet, Dimes also hits on that McBride will not be in the rotation at the moment. Throughout the year, maybe later, with some consolidation. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not looking like the easier situation for Deuce right now. But he's a focused guy. He's got his head screwed on, and I think Miles McBride is gonna be all right. I think he's gonna be all right. It's just a longer process for him, whether it's with the Knicks or with another team. He'll find his way. Like he'll find himself into minutes and rotation. I think, and Evan will be gone by this deadline, with Mitch possible. Who knows what's going to happen with that? But I think Mitch is going to hang around at least a year, I would feel. Yeah, McBride could be gone, definitely. That's a tough situation, right? But yeah, you got to factor in the situations with the depth right now and the pieces that need to fit, right? It's all about fit, man. And of course, preseason, there we see it. Detroit, I love that matchup to start things off. October 4 as well. It's not far away, ladies and gentlemen. It's like 6.5 weeks away, 6-7 weeks away. And great team to start off with, a young up-and-coming team that's going to get up and down. JJ, Mitch better improve because we have 2 centers now behind him that can bowl. Yep, no lies. Completely agree with that. And I think he will come in. I think he will come in a better player. How much, we got to wait and see. But rebounding, shot blocking, all the things that are his bread and butter, he needs to bring out the gate and be consistent at it. JJ, be healthy and be consistent with that thing. Mitch should, I believe, with Brunson, should be around 12 and 11. Easy, yep. Yeah, that's like I agreed with Shah as well. Yep. Rebounding and easy putbacks, points, lobs, dunks, all of that good stuff, fam. Yep. Kaiser, appreciate you. Salute. The Spider trade is all but dead. Kaiser Soze. Yeah, I'm starting to talk about it less and less at this current point. Not to say it's not going to happen. Things will pick up steam at some point this off season, but it's all but dead at the moment right now. Yeah, definitely. I'm focusing on what we have right now, and I think a lot of Knicks fans are as well. Let's just appreciate who we have right now and who we can assume is coming in to preseason here as well. And appreciating our starting point as well, high character teammate, leader, Jalen Brunson, right? 25, 26 years of age as well. He's here and he's going to bring a lot of intangibles as well as game on the court. Well, I'm pumped for that. Fournier, Deuce, and Cam, Sharp Powers says to Allah says to Sharp Powers about which three guys are going to be gone. Yep. I'm glad you mentioned that, fam. I could not remember that third guy, but it's Cam Reddish. That's the one. I appreciate that. Yep. Fournier, Deuce, and Cam. With that, if we can get away with that without including IQ, I do that in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, I think IQ, Obi, or Grimes may have to be in that deal. Yep. Shah says, would you do Evan, IQ, and Obi with 4 firsts? Despite whether they're protected or unprotected, I would not do that, Shah. I would have to say no. I got to hold on to one of our IQ or Obi with that situation. Yep. Give them Deuce or Cam with that. Yep. Sherwin supporting his guy as well. Mitch, 30 minutes means a double-double. Easy. Yep. If it's 30 minutes, it's double-double easy. Yep. Parrish is on point too. With Obi's ability to get the easy fast break buckets, that's golden in this NBA. Cannot say that enough. And we haven't had that since Spree. Yep. We haven't had that since Spree. Yep. His ability to get easy buckets. I can't quite recall whether anyone between that and Spree, but you're absolutely right about, Obi's the kind of guy that you need to get easy buckets, and he's a mismatch on the court. Yep. I love some Obi as well, and I just think it's about fit. I'm not a fan who likes players above other players. If they're a New York Knicks, I support all of them. But the reason I'm higher on keeping Grimes and Obi is because they're fit. Their age, their rookie contract, and they're fit with this thing, right? Obi is a mobile big man with athleticism that gives you mismatches. Quentin Grimes is a two-way guy that shoots well or shoots great and defends well as well. Those two guys can fit and mold into any team, basically. And we've seen what Evan had, in his first season. He's a veteran. He's not going to get better and better each and every season, Fournier. At best, he comes in and gives us exactly what he gave us last season, right? He's not going to come in and be a better defender or anything like that. So with that said, Evan Fournier, appreciate him. He broke the franchise record, but he's not going to give us anything more defensively. And Wes Quentin Grimes is still growing, coming into his own. And I think the sky's the limit for him. Yep. And Dimes and Knicks, McBride, a good player. It's just tough with this team. Yep. It's just tough. Absolutely. You're right. And we had a great conversation with the chat yesterday about 9-man rotation versus 10-man rotation, ladies and gents. So if Tibbs ain't even willing to extend to a 10-man, how can Deuce fit in? Where does he fit in? Unless a big blockbuster goes down with that. Yeah, E. Gibson, I like our depth at the center, but Mitch does need to improve at the line. He shot under 50, and you can't have some finishing games shooting that poorly. Yep, you can't have finishing games out that poorly. You're right. The fouls and being sent to the line is absolutely tough with guys that don't shoot well, fam. The good thing is Mitch is a worker. He's been putting videos out there. He's working on that, fam. He's working on it. I'm happy about that. And I've been putting at a number at it. Yeah, it might be lofty, but I put Mitch, if he shoots 70%, I'll be absolutely thrilled. If Mitch shoots 70% from the free throw, from the charity, then that's going to be great for this team, right? And RJ Barrett, if he can shoot 75%, that's going to be money for this team and finishing games out. Sherwin says Farron Hunt can give us fast break dunks, and he does play D too. Yep. Kaiser Soze, what's the rush with giving up on our young guys? We are still far from competing. Yep. We are realistically, yeah, we're far away. And I don't really want to give up on anyone at the moment. But yeah, with the Spider situation is the only way a ready-made established all-star, that is the only way I would be willing to move on from an IQ with this situation. Otherwise, I'm happy to see IQ rock out. The issue is, Kaiser, in terms of the rush, the contracts can quickly creep up. Obi and Quick, in one more season, 2 more seasons, you're going to be talking about extensions with them, and it's tough to be able to pay everyone. Well, that's the thing to watch out for with this thing. Yep. And I love our center depth too. Dimes and Knicks. Absolutely. One of our strengths this season, fam, with this, ladies and gents. We finally got 3 guys that I'd be comfortable all playing 30 plus minutes, right? That's just going to be amazing this season. Having rim protection, big men that can rebound, lay some wood, sets good screens. And of course, Isaiah, the guy we just brought in, is the biggest wild card with this fam. The fact that he can finally stretch the floor a bit has me real hyped, like real hyped. I've been wanting a stretch big man since we had Porzingis. You know what I mean? Porzingis and a bunch of ragtags had us like 500. Remember, was like halfway through the season, or third way through the season, an all-star Porzingis and a bunch of ragtags had us at 500. So you have a stretch big man that can do some things. You know what I mean? Salute Hard Will. What's good? Give us your thoughts on the center situation with this, right? I don't want to get too over the top with Hartenstein in case he turns out to not be the best shooter at all. But the fact is, he does come in with the skill set that the others don't have with that. And Sharp Hours with Rose in the second unit with IQ, Deuce get less minutes, if any. Yep. You're on point there, Shah. It's tough. There's still a bit of a logjam with this situation. Yeah. And salute Be Civilized, Knicks fam. Hopefully Mitch and RJ are shooting like 1 million free throws to get that percentages up, because we lost about 3 to 5 games due to that. I'm going to we probably lost 8 games, fam. Yeah, but no lies there spoken. Be civilized. Little intangibles like that. The game comes easy to you when you practice those things. It's called a free throw for a reason, right? Ain't it? Some of us Sunday YMCAers could be money from the line if you practice, right? There's no difference why an NBA player shouldn't be the same, right? Practice, practice, practice. Yet Sherwin, yet Grimes ain't getting traded. It's already been said by management. All right. If that's true, then that's one of the best things I've heard today. Well, yep, it's been said by reporters. Yep, I think that management don't want to part with Grimes with that situation. Could that be what's holding it up, Sherwin, with Spider? We know Danny Ainge and the Utah reports say that they want Grimes. Hell for leather, they want Quentin Grimes. So is that what's causing the stalemate? I think Grimes and the picks, pick protections and all that. Bonson, the fact that money-making Mitch wanted to stay a Nick means culture. Facts, Bonson. Culture, 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 right? Look at this. This is culture you see in front of you, right? Guys, shouting each other out, ex-teammates, still close friends. Mitch is culture in a way for the New York Knicks, right? He's a beloved character now. He's beloved in the locker room with this situation. Shah, I just think Danny might not want Reddish or Deuce. Yep. That's on the chain of thought, Shah, that the front offices of or beat reporters have been talking about, fam. Yep. Yet Reddish and Deuce, they might not be to Danny's liking. I think I agree with that. Reddish, he's going to have to pay. Deuce, you'd probably take him, but it's like, okay, at the moment, Deuce is still unproven, right? He's not a dude that's just going to get it done, straight away. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we got a super sticker come through from Brunson. Salute. Appreciate you, fam. Let's get it. And appreciate your support for that. It means a lot. Absolutely on point. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. The streets and the chat are buzzing with these New York Knicks and the best fan base in the world. It's going to be a fun season. It's going to be intense, but a lot of our future is going to be shaped with this thing, I think. Allah wise, didn't RJ shoot the same free throw percentage as Fournier last season? Like so-called great shooter. Yeah, I think Fournier, he basically just broke the record with with 3-pointers made with that thing. But yeah, if you can't defend, I'm willing to part with Fournier with that situation. Dimes and Knicks, the fact that we can get Spider without giving up RJ is great in itself. Let's not be too greedy. We need to get this deal done. I've been hearing a few people say the same thing. That is another reason why Danny Ainge is doing what he's doing, I think, as well. He's using that point as a bargaining point with us keeping RJ. Then he's able to command a lot more of the other assets, which is fair, but it's frustrating with that situation, I think. And Francisco, salute. If Mitch shoots anywhere near 70 from the line, then he can shoot middies. Yep. Great point. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, 70, that's just the number I gave him as a target that I would love. Yeah, I love him to hit. Yep. But yeah, it's absolutely buzzing for this situation for preseason, man. It's 6 weeks away. That I'm absolutely hyped, right? If you think about it, this pro city stuff with guys building chemistry and guys going to be in the gym soon, getting in early workouts, that's just going to help this thing move along nicely. And I think I know a lot of you guys agree with the preseason shortened. It's great music to my ears, right? 4 games, treat them serious, no mucking around, no messing about. Get proper rotation set. Develop habits, good habits, like Tom Thibodeau says. Develop winning habits. Establish that rotation early on. Who's going to be in your rotation, who's not, and the matchups. It's a win-win-win with Detroit up and coming, Indy slated to be one of the worst teams. We could get a couple beat downs, start to feel good about ourselves, and then finish off with a real tough matchup to head towards the season opener with Washington. And the Wiz are going to give us probably the biggest test of this preseason. Illmatics, salute. I don't see Miles being part of this thing long term. Yep, sadly, I agree. I just don't see him being a part of this thing long term either. The pathway to seeing him being a Knick long term is if we pull off that blockbuster, and Miles is a guy that stays out of that deal, and we need depth. We need depth. He's obviously cheap on a rookie deal, He can produce if given opportunities. Yeah, if I'm Danny, I take him. Like if the deal's constructed and I say, oh, we're about to make this big blockbuster, we've got the picks that satisfy me, we've got the young players. I say, hey, just all right, do me one better, throw in Miles McBride, and then we got a deal because Miles is cheap, right? There's no need why Danny Ainge should not want to take Miles McBride back. Sherwin says he needs to go back to the G League, learn how to play the point more. Look, you'll definitely take valuable experience from being back in the G League. Just playing helps. You got to just play, fam. Sitting on the bench ain't good for nobody. Apple fanboy in the house. Salute. The Spider trade gets done near September. Yeah, I agree. I put it at just above 50% that this thing happens before training camp, fam. I think there is too many situations now. There's too many reasons to not get it done, basically. Yeah, both sides should be motivated. Francisco says Spider don't play D. He can't keep his man in front of him. That's going to be the biggest question mark with this roster construction, Francisco. With Spider, Brunson, we better hope that we keep Grimes out of that deal. And we need 3 and D. We need 3 and D to help out in the worst way. But the rim protection is key, I will say. Guys that can't keep their guy in front of them ain't the worst thing in the world. It's rim protection, who is that last line of defense. And that's why Tom Thibodeau loves the big man so much. So much of his principles are based on that as well. Yep. And Apple fanboy Ron man, the fam is he's still in the Knicks fam. He's still jumping on some shows as a guest panelist as well. Yep, David L. Ticket sales last games for Spider sales, not a pitch. I'm shocked. Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is, right? Box office, all of that. Be civilized. All we need now is to put that Knicks together. Bake this cake the right way, play together for one another and as a whole unit. No one is bigger than this team. Say that again. No one is bigger than this team. Right? I love that. I love that. Let's hope that the coaching staff, right, Tom Thibodeau, he coaches that way. Let's hope, fam. Be civilized. I hope there's no favoritism, accountability, and all of that stuff, right? Sharp Power says, run the crew and hold on to Deuce, Rose, and Sims, third unit. That is what makes sense, I think, with this current roster. Keeping these young players, giving them the opportunity to see what they can be, right, in this second, third unit. They will get their chance, right? Injuries happen, back-to-backs, all of that stuff, right? Guys just got to stay patient with this thing. And yet, like David spells out, he can learn a lot from Jalen. Absolutely. He's going to spit out knowledge. Guys got to absorb that like a sponge, I think, with this thing. So, yeah. Now we got the power rankings, fam. Give us your thoughts, your early rankings as to where you have the Knicks slated. To me, I think 8th to 10th is very, very fair right at this moment. Right at this moment. I think a Spider deal would elevate us, of course. Maybe a couple spots. But I think 8 to 10, I'm not mad at that at all. Yeah, give us your thoughts on that situation. With that, we got power rankings from NBA.com. We got the Knicks in 10th, right around the Cavs and the Hawks. Right, that's going to be some fun matchups. with the Cavs, the Hawks, the Nets. The Nets, of course, about to blow things up over there. I think Kyrie's on his way to LA. I think KD will get what he wants and will get traded. I just think KD by himself with that squad, it's just not worth it for Brooklyn, right? Just get those picks and rebuild. And isn't it ironic, in the words of Alanis Morissette, that Brooklyn might end up striving to rebuild the way they were earlier before they got those two guys, when they were young, chemistry, exciting. They played hard for Kenny Atkinson, right? That could be where they're back to, back to square one with those guys. Francisco, we got the ingredients. Get rid of what doesn't go and cook. Yep. Get rid of what doesn't and go and cook. Yep. Absolutely, fam. We're building something out here. We're not going to gut this whole roster of all our young parts and pieces. This is a situation where we're building. We're taking step by step, season by season. But the spider thing definitely will fast track things with this thing, right? The expectations, the wins, it will definitely fast track these things. And part of me is now thinking why it's so critical, why the Knicks went for this three-headed monster at the center position. They know that if Spider Mitchell is our plan, if Spider's coming as a Nick and our perimeter D might be a bit suspect or will be suspect, then it ain't the worst thing to have three big men, right? We're going to need that last line of defense, right? We're going to need that. Guys getting in foul trouble. Hartenstein can come in, defend the rim as well. Jericho Sims coming along as well. Part of me thinking we loaded up on big men because we know our perimeter D might suck. Brunson, not speed. He more angles, technical. McBride can dunk, very athletic, but don't use speed correctly. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. Brunson's shifty. He's crafty. He's good with the angles. Yep. He's good with his stocky size and smashing into guys, basically. See his build there. I mean, he's short, but look at his build versus Obi's build. I mean, Jalen Brunson is a thick dude. Pause. But he's strong. Look at the size of his biceps, his arms. Well, what he does is he basically did what Isaiah Thomas had to do at 5'9", which is lean into the guy, create separation, shift the defender back, and then create some separation that way. JJ says, I wish we could hardcore tank for this loaded draft, but we're not going to, unfortunately, right now. Yeah, I think they're happy with their young core right now, fam. But on that note, I was actually thinking about this earlier today. I'm glad you mentioned that the draft is that I do hope we keep, if we're trading picks for Spider, to Danny, then of course I hope we keep one pick, especially for this year, so we can make our selection this year. Yeah, I really hope we can make that selection this year, fams. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, Obi is rail thin at the moment, right? Yeah, he's a very wiry dude up in this thing. He runs like a gazelle, getting up and down. Yeah, I've actually heard a number of NBA players say that Jalen Brunson, believe it or not, is one of the hardest players they've had to guard. Right? That's no lies. He is shifty. He's crafty. He's got good handle, tight handles, and that stocky, thick frame. Dirty Dancer, I don't think Danny even wants one this year. He has 3 already. Yeah. Man. I'd love that if that's the case, fam. Yep. I think he's after, you're right. He's after the 29 and the 27 year draft picks, right, in the future when he's banking on the New York Knicks to be bad, right? If you think about it, yeah, if he's giving the Knicks Spider Mitchell, it's not worth him, taking a pick this year, right? Because the Knicks are probably going to be decent. Not even probably. The Knicks will be decent to good. So what's the point in getting the Knicks 23 pick, especially? Yep. You hit with that. You hit. He probably wants 24, 26, 28. Yep. 27 and 29, dirty, is what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Yep. There's talk the Knicks don't want to give 29. Absolutely no. But yeah, that's very in tune with what negotiations could be like right now. Yeah, with JJ, on that note, I've spoken in the past about my like for building slowly through the draft as well. But I also agreed that if we bring in veterans that are a good age, I'm happy with that as well. I'm talking 25, 26-year-olds in their prime. If you're looking for a team to try to go all in, that's all you could ask for, right? I don't want 30 over 30-year-old vets all the time with a very small window. If you're bringing 26-year-olds that can grow together, still can cook and develop chemistry, like such as Brunson with Spider and the rest of the young core, then I'm okay with that as well. Yeah, David says he's going to be even more hungry this year. Yep, absolutely, 100%. Be civilized. Yep, loving this convo. So yeah, number 6 retired. Now let's talk a bit about these comments from former Nick and no stranger to danger, Brandon Jennings. Brandon Jennings. He took to socials. I think it was Twitter up in this thing. And Brandon said, first he said, whoever made this the Players League, he went all in, by the way. He did not hold back, which he normally does not. And whoever made this a Players League was the stupidest thing ever for this game of ball. If I'm a fan of the game, why would I go to pay to watch players that can decide whether they want to play or not? It's only a couple guys in the NBA that love the game. Outside of the NBA, kids make so much money now, you think they care? Then a dude asks, was it David Stern? He says, nah, I feel like it was the CP3s, Bronze and them, speaking on players, this and that. And my thing is, get the money, I understand that. But the passion for the game is lost. Kids don't even watch games anymore. They just go highlights or Twitter and Insta. Bron and CP earned that. And then he said, but it's not for everybody, is what I'm saying. Certain players can do certain stuff, but everyone can't be comfortable trying to get that off. It's still a business and system to respect as well. If I'm a dad taking my son to a West Coast game and it's my one chance to see a star player from the East team, they sit out the last minute. I'm hot. I'm thinking my family worked too hard to buy that ticket. Yeah. And then he spoke about a bit about the Zion situation in terms of putting incentives, basically putting in these incentives like the Zion thing, your body fat, this and that. So what do you guys think about this? And also, do you think that he's right about the NBA where it's going? The product is getting more watered down, but also the revenue's going up due to the digital platforms, everything evolving worldwide. This thing is a global thing. But in terms of, I agree with the incentives. I think the more this money just goes through the roof, you're going to have dudes on 60, 70 mil as well, which they deserve. They earned that. But what's not to agree with terms of putting incentives, just to make sure they tick all those things. Yeah, that's just my thoughts on that situation. JJ, am I the only one not sold on this young core? When I look at teams worse than us now, like the Houston Rockets, Orlando, OKC, and the Pistons, I'd take all those young cores over ours. Well, yeah, they certainly tanked and got higher picks, I think, fam. I think that's where it's at. If you look at the Knicks young core, it's RJ for the 3rd overall pick. The rest were value picks, I think. Whereas Houston, Orlando, OKC, Detroit, they got true blue chip prospects. They got a lot more of them through being bad in the draft as well. Yep. Dirty Dancer, when did he win a chip? Is that a fake trophy? He was invited to the Milwaukee Bucks chip. Dirty, I think. Yeah, I think they honored him with that. He was even on the bus. Yeah, he was even on the bus. Yeah, I don't think he earned the trophy, but he certainly didn't earn a ring. But I think they wanted to honor him with that thing. Yeah, too many guys get burnt out, but no stamina. Soft, hopefully different this year, says David. That is another great comment too about the length of the season. Is the season too long? 82 games. Is that what the players have a gripe with? The competition levels get diluted, watered down, back to backs. The NBA is not going to shorten the season, I don't think, due to revenues. But, for the product to get better, I think it has to. I think that's where we're at. Dirty says guys actually have to play D now out to the 3-point line. It's not as easy playing every game. Yeah, you're right. Running out to the 3-point line, chasing athletes up and down, all of that. And you know what my thoughts are actually? Let's put a mandate on minutes distributions. Why not do that, man? I think we got a lot of fan bases crying to see their young players get more burn. So let's make sure that these stars are healthier, not playing 44 minutes, I think. And let's see some of these other players play as well. That way you're still getting stars playing every game, but they're not getting burnt out, I feel like. E. Gibson, I like the direction we're heading with 8 to 9 players under 25, but we do need to consolidate to improve. Yep. Completely agree. You hit. I like the direction the Knicks are going. Absolutely. We are not, full of blue chip prospects by no means. We have some nice young talent that need to continue to develop, but we have to consolidate. Yep, definitely. And that is why I'd sadly, out of all the players needing to go in a spider deal as well, an IQ makes the most sense from the fit perspective as well. I just don't see how IQ is going to get enough minutes to justify him staying if Spider and if Brunson are here long term as well. That's too much money tied up in one or two positions for me. You need a balanced roster with that thing, right? And of course, you need to hold on to Quentin Grimes. Houston, Orlando, and the OKC played their kids, but not us. We developed vets. Yep, spitting facts, Francisco. They did. Yep, they were bad, but they were able to play their young players more. Whereas the Knicks tried to prioritize winning and finish in the playoffs, 2 seasons ago. With that, yep, Kaiser Soze, as much as these players are getting paid, they should have no complaints over the amount of games. Yep, that's keeping it a buck. Definitely agree with that. With the amount they're getting paid, the NBA is rightful in a position where, they should feel comfortable keeping it the same as well. It's just a matter of the product on the court just ain't as good. with that situation. Unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to go. And what's the problem is they watered down the game by making the game soft. Stop calling fouls for every little contact. Also, let's get letting certain players travel all day. Yep, definitely. I think they were trying to make it more highlight based, fam, with that. Yep. A lack of fundamentals as well with wanting highlight Sports Center and one overtime clips and all of that stuff. Well, yep. That's why the game's elevated in terms of marketing. There's no disputing that. This game's growing and growing and growing. The next TV deal and the revenue is only going to go up and up as this game becomes truly global. There's superstars out there, Slovenia, in Greece, Greek Freak. The next big African talent is only around the corner. France, we know Victor Wembanyama. These TV deals overseas are going through the roof now. And this might, a lot of people might disagree with this, but I think a division might not be a Division 1 and a Division 2 might not be the worst thing, right? If you want to bring in more teams, you want to make more money, you want to open up more roster spots for people, I think an NBA Tier 1, NBA Tier 2 divisions wouldn't be the worst team. I know we kind of got that with the G League already, but why not sort of make it official? I think make it more official. But I'm all for expansion. The Vegas, Seattle, bring in some, it's sort of kind of getting stale with some of these same small market franchises. David says just play McBride. Rose just had the surgery on the same ankle multiple times, man. Why are we doing this? Play McBride. Rose missed last week because athlete's foot lightly infected his foot. That was healthy from another surgery. Yeah, he's going through the wars with that thing. Bonson, I like the players being more empowered than back in the day, but stars forcing their way out of contracts is ruining the game. Yep. That's something I definitely agree with too, fam. Yep. When you sign that contract, there should be that commitment. Unless you have a real grievance to get the heck out of there, it shouldn't be just to team up with another player, right? Just because the grass looks greener on the other side, right? Just wait it out. Wait till your last final year of your contract, right? And then force your way out. I got no issues with a player forcing their way out on the final year or coming up to the final year, but not with 3 years left, not with 4 years left on the deal. And I don't probably say this enough, but I got to shout out and I got to salute guys like Bradley Beal and Dame Lillard as well. Yes, they've been paid absolutely the bag, but they deserve, they stick it out with their teams, man. Bradley Beal could have upped and gone out of there, and so could have Dame. So salute to those two as well for holding it down for their franchises as well. Not every player wants to just hop and skip to a winning situation. And B says, even if Mitchell does fall through, I like D Rose, but him and Evan Fournier still need to go ASAP so we can balance out our roster. Yep. I like D Rose too, but him and Fournier do need to go to open up some space. Unfortunate thing is, I think with the coaching staff, Tom Thibodeau, they want to push for the best play-in situation that they can. Situation, right? Missing the play-in is not good for business, for James Dolan, MSG, all of that stuff. Yeah, and I absolutely think that their priority is to get back into postseason ball this season, ladies and gents. It's important for them. Tom Thibodeau, of course, being his age, all of those things, he wants to get to a point where his job is safer with this thing. Yeah, we out here buzzing, ladies and gents, up in this piece. You guys are the best in the biz. And absolute loyalty, yep. Francisco's on point, yep. Nets proved that the grass ain't green. Yep. It's got to be about chemistry. It's all about the fit and all of those things. Yep. Bad look for the NBA to have crybaby players every call. Come on, man. Just take it like a man. Yep. That's just too much empowerment, I think, where that goes wrong. Start upping the fines, basically. Actually maybe even like soccer, they'll reprimand a player for taking a dive. All the NBA does is fine people for flopping, but what's the fine going to do? They're wealthy. Penalize them in the game. So what I mean is maybe if a player, you review the footage and you find out that a player flopped, then you award them a foul. The foul is on them for flopping. So then you penalize them throughout the game. Let's say they're on 3-4 fouls and they flop. You call another foul on them for flopping. Then they're almost about to foul out. That's when it's going to be started to take more seriously. Exactly like the take foul. Now take foul is one shot, free throw, side ball. Well, so you're going to have less people do the take foul. Now, if you want less people to flop, then give them a foul for flopping. Don't just give them a fine. David says, come on, NBA, just put it back to the first team's 11. No water there. Dirty says, have to disagree. Guys willing to just stay in a bad situation is just dumb. Look, yeah, it is dumb, essentially, yeah. It's dumb loyalty is what it is. Yeah, they're loyal, but it's dumb. They're not going to win in that situation. David, do we really need the Nets? They can be a WNBA team starting with Ben Simmons. Oh, Kaiser Soze, move the Nets to Seattle. Let the Supersonics return. They're on their way, Kaiser. One way or another, I think Seattle's going to be a franchise. I think by 2025, I would say. Well, I think they just want to wait for both of them to be ready. I think Vegas and Seattle, they want to introduce two teams at the same time. I think for evenness with that situation. But yeah, that has me excited. I think Vegas is long overdue. Fans going to flock there. Arenas will be full. Players would love to go play there. It's on the West Coast, not far from Phoenix, not far from LA, all of those things, right? And of course, Seattle, long overdue. Memphis are in a pretty strong situation, so I don't see Memphis moving. OKC, probably, interestingly, OKC moved back to Seattle. So I don't really know why they moved from the first place. Yet they got to stop bailing out James Harden as well. That helps. Absolutely, yep. I think they've gotten better at it, but there's still ways to go, right? Stop reviewing the take fouls as well. Leave it to the refs, like foreign ball. Yep, Dirty's on point too. Yep, at some point, when are we going to put it on the refs to make the calls and be good at what they do, right? Just make the calls. If it's a foul, side ball, refs do like to bail out certain guys. Yep, they're biased, I think, definitely. Teams better away their future for a star than if the player doesn't like the direction the team is going. They lose when they want out. Yep, that's the sad tale of this thing, right? Of what BJ is saying. This thing, right? It's about the passion, I guess, the loyalty. And look, Jennings is also leaving out the fact that the game has changed. Everything evolves with money. The way the game was played before, that the money wasn't anywhere close to what we're seeing, right? It's a show right now. It's business. It's entertainment. As long as the NBA continues to grow, in revenue and ratings are good, then they're going to be able to think that what they're doing is working. Everything's going to continue. They might tweak a few rules, here and there, but for the most part, it's just going to stay that way, I feel. They're going to try to do little cosmetic things like bring in new franchises, tweak some rules here and there, but at least be more severe with penalties, I think. It's bad for the league to have the best players teaming up. It's better that every team has one or two recognizable stars, and that way people feel like every team has a chance coming in. Yep. You hit it with that, Kaiser, as well. As we look at the projections, right? It's bad look when you can already say that 4, 5, 6 teams are going to be awful already. There's too much unevenness, I think, with this situation. And it's a whole nother thing. It goes back to tanking. It goes back to okay, teams are either trying to win or they're trying to tank. And the league's been trying to rectify that, but they just can't stop that much longer. They really can't do too much about it, right? When you got generational guys ready to come in, yeah, it's going to be absolutely crazy. What I think is, though, is that I think a good thing would be, in my opinion, is to make every team that miss the playoffs or play in and give them all equal odds at the first overall selection. Now, what do you guys think about that? It don't matter whether you finished 15th or it don't matter whether you finished 11th. You get equal odds to try to win the first pick. That way, that encourages every single person to try and win every single game. It really don't matter if you miss the play-in or you don't. You still have an equal chance at equal odds to get the best player in the draft as well. Yeah, Dirty says there was never a time when they weren't clear bottom dwellers. Yep, there was, never a time. I guess KD feels it ain't cool to be a net no more. Bonson, karma. Yep, that is the point. Yep. They're trying to treat this thing like their own little toy, like a little game up in this thing, right? He wanted them to sign DeAndre. They did it. They wanted him to fire Kenny Atkinson. They did it. Well, they gave it Steve Nash, and he don't want him no more. I mean, it's like a baby throwing the bottle out the window. I mean, how many moves are they going to do to appease this guy for F's sake? And what, he might up and go to Golden State. You know what I mean? I'm glad we didn't sign him, man. Absolutely childish, man. And then how could I forget? They went all in to get James Harden. It still wasn't enough for them. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets, man. No wonder Joe Tsai just went out there and just had enough, man. Just have enough of these things. But it does further cement that if you're going to go all in on the stars, right? If that is your strategy, then you better think damn well hard as to whether that is the right star for you, right? Because we all know there are stars that stars play well on the court, but there are stars that bring certain problems, and there are stars that just get on with it, right? I'm talking about the Giannis's, the Joel Embiid's, things like that. They get on with it, They just play. David says, I like us at 5. All expectations have to be met, but have to go perfect. Yep, you're right. Appreciate that. Yep. I don't put much ceiling on us, but realistically, I feel 8 to 10 is pretty real. And let's look at the ESPN now. Also got us at 10. Kaiser says, I think flattening the lottery odds doesn't dissuade tanking, and it makes bad teams stay bad because they might never get a superstar if their luck is bad enough. Yet that's the other side of the thing as well, which I understand you on that. Definitely that could be an unfortunate situation for those teams as well. it's just hard to rid of that. That there is no clear answer to rid of tanking. It's about, I guess, just evening the playing field. Removing all incentives to tank at all. Let's say you're the Pacers and the Magic. Don't trade away Malcolm Brogdon and all that just to try to be bad. Just play with who you got. And if you end up not being good enough and you end up being 11, then you still have a chance to get the number 1 pick. So I think it's going to stop players from teams from shedding vet contracts and things like that just for the sake of being bad. KD ain't cool for New York. I agree. Yep. Situation, right? Go to San Francisco. Go back to OKC. Go to Seattle. The play-in has already had a great impact. Yep. On tanking, I agree. Dirty Dancer on point. I like that situation as well. It's creating this topic now. We're talking about it. It ain't just 8th and then it's broke. It's something exciting, 10, 9, 8, 7. Most people have warmed to the play-in, so that's a good thing. It's taken a little while, but yeah, it's gaining momentum for sure. And what are your thoughts about the play-in? The play mid-season tournament that's about to come in, right? There's going to be a hot debate over what the prize is going to be, right? And the incentive to go all in on that. I like the idea with that draft lottery. CT Will says, yep, I appreciate you for that. And yeah, like I said, there's no way to be perfect on either side. I think tanking's still going to be around. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of a way to completely dissuade someone from wanting to be rock bottom. You can be bad and still be rewarded, kind of thing. And that way, you still have to miss the playoffs to be eligible. But I do understand what Kaiser said as well, that some teams will just keep missing out and they'll keep being bad. KD is a straight loser. Be civilized, yeah. I respect his play in OKC early days. After Golden State, I lost all respect. I think a lot of people lost respect for that. Yep. Like Kaiser hits on as well. Legendary talent, generational, but has the smallest heart. Yeah. Both of them, I think. I think Brooklyn was the best fit for them. The reasons they chose Brooklyn ended up being because, they wanted to avoid the spotlight. Well, what happened now? It just didn't work out. They said, we just want to play ball. We don't want to fuss over media. We don't want to have all that attention on us. So we go to Brooklyn. Well, soft, absolutely soft. No chips. Yep, I completely agree. Yep, let's keep it buzzing. I'm still not a fan of the play-in or the idea of the mid-season tourney. Just Kaiser, you're more of the on the traditional format side of things as well, whether you just make the playoffs or not. I'm on the fence about the mid-season. I still want to hear all the details and hear about what's at stake, because I think it could be something new, something exciting. I think we can all agree the All-Star thing is just not working. All-Star break is really, that's all it is. It's just a break for the players. It's a break for the season. But the All-Star festivities don't get me excited no more. The skills tourney, 3-point shooting thing, all you see is the same things again and again and again. Steph Curry, what's his name from Brooklyn, the shooter with Brooklyn, Joe Harris, Klay Thompson, what's his name? The other Curry brother. You got Steph Curry, and you got the other Curry, and then we just see the same things over and over and over again with the 3-point shooting comp, and then the dunk contest is an absolute farce now. They allow guys 6 to 7 false attempts false starts, all of that thing, right? So unless you're going to bring back the true East and West, I think they lost people when they did the LeBron, Team Giannis, pick your own team kind of thing. Bring it back to the old traditional East versus West out here. There's nothing wrong with that. JJ, I don't think changing lottery odds have made a very big difference though, because front offices that known they don't going to have a great roster still will tank, especially in the draft, like next year's teams will tank. Yeah, you're right. Teams want that Victor Wembanyama. Yep. Lose your nada for Victor Wembanyama. And yeah, that's not going to change, fam. Well, it's deterred things slightly in terms of it's created like gray areas for, whether teams can be the worst team or what. But yeah, if you're still bad, you still have a good chance. So yeah, they haven't done enough, I don't think. Yep. KD has a heart. He's just a dummy for wanting to play with knucklehead friends. His will to want to win, I think, he's serious, impulsive. It's obsessive. I mean, KD's will to want to win, it's obsessive. But yeah, he's made some bad choices. Yeah, if he had a heart, he would have stayed in Oklahoma. I agree, and won a ring with KD and Harden in OKC. Yep, that team should have never blown that up, man. Harden in their prime with Russ and KD, they would have won multiple rings, I feel. They need to somehow make the midi tourney as respected as a ring. It will be hard because this ain't soccer. Yep. You hit. I'm happy with that suggestion in terms of making it real, important in terms of the stakes. Part of me's the first thing that comes to my mind is draft compensation. We all know teams love draft picks as well. Let's say the maybe something like the set number, maybe the eighth pick every single year, the 8th overall pick goes to the team that wins the tourney, or something like that, or the 10th overall pick automatically goes to the team that wins the tourney, and then the 11th pick, the subsequent team starts to select at 11, or something huge. David, I don't like the mid-season. They should do it after this way. You have every player's full season stats, can pick the best. Yeah. So you don't like the mid-season tourney. They should do it after. Okay. This way you have every player's full season stats, can pick the best. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So you do the season tourney after the season instead of the mid. I'd like to see a 3v3 tourney, mix it up. Man, now you're talking. That's it. Make it fun. Make it different. Yep. 3v3, but you pick the best 3, or does it have to be maybe a veteran, maybe a rookie or a young player on a rookie contract, and 1 G League player? Imagine that. Yep. Yeah, I agree, Kaiser, with the OKC situation. And Dirty Dancer giving the winner of that tourney the last pick in the lottery could make a good teams compete. Yep. That's something that's good suggestion as well. Yep. Making worthy of a draft compensation, but being the last pick in the lotto. Yeah, could be. Yeah, definitely could make teams compete. I think they're aware of some teams might not really take it seriously. So I think the idea of bringing it in, they really do want to make it something big, like with what's at stake. And you got to think with ratings, right? The more important the games are, the more people are going to watch and take this thing seriously. So yeah, I don't expect it to be some, fake lollipop ring. I expect it to be a real prize. But But what are the catches? What are the rules? What are the things to qualify to play? Is it just your team can play straight up? You play whoever you want to play. Is it a different format, a shorter games? Maybe it's shorter games kind of thing. Avoid injuries, make it more quicker, intense, kind of mid-season tourney, play fast kind of thing. Kaiser, now KD left that team, wanted his own team, and now he's abandoning that team. That's all-time cowardly. When the going gets tough, KD gets going. Yeah, and I think personalities too played a factor. I think he grew tired of Kyrie a bit. I think he grew tired of Harden. They just grew apart. And again, it speaks to his mentality. He doesn't want to be in tough situations, like you said. Otherwise, he would have taken on the Knicks challenge. I think, fam, he definitely would have taken on this challenge in New York, and have the chance to to bring a ring to the Knicks, and be big up in this thing. It would have been absolutely huge for KD's legacy. He's a top 20 player, absolutely. Pretty sure, but he cares. Yep. David, they should avoid the mid-season tournament. If they don't like the All-Star game, what going to be a difference with a few games? No players want to get hurt in or play hard. Probably not want to play yet. That's why I agree. And I also think it's critical to shorten the mid-season tourney, have it a knockout versus round robin. So, teams just advance real quick, like a cup format. Basically, 5 games get you all the way through to the prize, and shorter games or something like that. Or like you said, with players not wanting to get hurt, create a bigger gap in the season, like create a serious 2-week gap so you could complete this tourney properly and still get everybody 3 days rest or something like that. And create a, sort of like a bubble situation too. So there's no flights, there's no teams going to, city to city. It's all in one place kind of thing, all in one place or close by. Whether it's in LA, you got 2 arenas. Whether it's in New York, you got 2 arenas. So you could be playing, games, multiple games a day kind of thing. Make every team play some number of games in losers bracket, so no one just rests to rest. Yep, that's interesting too. Very. All these schemes to try to get more revenue. What they need to do is improve the core product. Yep. More games means more revenue. Yeah, and they don't want to remove 82 games, Kaiser, with that. Although giving the winner 50 mil to split would motivate. Absolutely, fam. Yep. If the ratings were high, then more revenue to split round for this thing, right? Hell, give them a bronze ring or something. Think about it. They're giving Summer League winners rings now, right? So if a Summer League team winner can win a ring, then surely a winner of a legit tournament deserves to get a ring as well. Am I not wrong? Because Summer League ain't meaning nothing, right? They want to give Summer League winners a ring. I mean, come on. This mid-season tourney, it's got to be a trophy and maybe a medal or something, a medal. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. What else is very, very interesting? These early expectations and the biggest talking points looming for the New York Knicks. Now, all of these on the screen are as big as each other, but just the way I've ranked at the moment, the biggest thing is the spider thing currently right now. it's still the elephant in the room, the biggest elephant. And it's also going to happen, I feel, at some point, whether it's start of the season, mid-season, after the season. I still think it's going to happen because Spider has to get traded, basically. So when does it happen? You guys tell me, when do you think the Spider trade ends up happening? Or do you seriously feel like it won't happen? There's a chance it won't happen. Dragging on, the reason I think it's going to happen before the season is because I think there's motivation. They don't want to drag this thing and become a distraction, basically. Of course, if it happens, chemistry, that's critical too. Brunson playing next to Spider and all of those things, that's going to be something to really watch. And fitting the rest of the pieces around them is critical. So, Bonson, I agree, CT, something needs to be done about the draft odds. No team should go more than 10, 15 to 20 years without a chance to draft a franchise player. Yep. So you think it's the odds that need to be tweaked, adjusted. Yep. Maybe they could do it based on years of history. Historically, teams that have, like the Knicks, haven't been able to move up in a lottery for 20 years or more since Patrick Ewing as well. So therefore, they don't just give us the first pick, but they increase our odds based on years of algorithm or something like that. So the mid-season tourney will be in multiple arenas like Summer League. The Jazz do want to tear it down, the rest of the roster too. So you think before training camp? Yeah, I completely agree with that too. Don't be fooled by this poker situation. It's just leverage, I think, basically. Kaiser Soze, I think it will drag until after the All-Star break. Ainge really thinks he can top what he got for the Gobert deal. Yeah. I could see that, but I could see both happening. I only put it slightly above 50%. It happens for training camp. But yeah, you're right with Danny Ainge. He's here to carry his legacy forward, right? And his legacy is fleecing people. He is delusional at the moment to think the deal is going to be like there's a big, better deal out there. I mean, I'm not trying to say that he's not within his right to play the Knicks, play chess, try to squeeze what he can. But if he thinks there's a bigger deal that some team is just going to pop the Knicks and offer 6 first-rounders, that's never going to happen, right, for Donovan Mitchell. If no team in the league can give up 6 firsts for Donovan Mitchell today, they're not going to be around in the future to give up 6 picks for Donovan Mitchell or anything like that. 5 unprotected picks kind of thing. So with that said, I do think we're a little bit closer to their meeting of the minds. It's just not, there's no urgency right now. But I do think talks will heat up soon. We'll know it. It'll drop like a bomb in the next week or two when we hear talks have picked up again and sides are getting a bit closer in terms of framework and things like that. Because I think this is just posturing. Yeah, but you guys absolutely on point. I could see that happening. David says Utah will wait a few weeks to see the players that they are offered to play a little bit, I would imagine. Yeah. That's another factor too, yeah. Some of these players in the deal that they're waiting on, I think, waiting on contractually with that. And you feel it'll be trade deadline. Okay, trade deadline, yeah. I think if it happens, that'll be the latest it happens. I'll tell you why, because if you're Utah, you carry Spider into the season with some of their veterans. If they want to be able to move on from Conley, maybe Clarkson, all of those players. So if you think about it, they don't want to rack up the dubs. They don't want to rack up too many dubs to hurt their chances, I think. So it's a long, long way. If you think carrying a Spider into February, that's some like 40 games down as well. That's something like 40 games down into the books. So yeah, that's going to be tough for Ainge. I know he's using that leverage talk about him being able to bring Spider in and, you know, and being okay with building around him and all of that stuff. But I'll believe that when I see it. Truth is, all it takes is maybe the Knicks to buckle a little bit and, you know, offer maybe that fourth pick, or, you know, out of the 4 picks, 3 of them unprotected, 4 of them unprotected, the right player. And I think the deal gets closer to being agreed upon. The more he comes to terms with around the league that a better deal ain't coming. Because, yeah, like I said, who can stack together more than 4 unprotected picks? I just don't see any team, you know, being able to do that. You know, even now and in the short-term future as well. Now, if they want to bring Spider back for long term, then bless them. You know, see how it works out for them. Right, he's going to opt out. 2024, it's going to happen. Right, Spider is on his way out, no matter what, with this situation. Right, even if they want to keep him for just a few years. So yeah, of course, Spider. Then Juju Randle, you know, he's in shape. He's here. He's balling out in the pro-ams as well. Signed the deal last season, we know. How long is Randle going to be that Nick? Firstly, how does he respond coming in? But the reason I've got the Spider deal ahead of Randle is because we know once the Spider deal, or if and when it happens, then the next domino falls, which is Julius Randle as well. And no doubt the front office would have an idea about the fit. You know, what if we bring in Mitchell, what we want the roster to look like. Is that with or without Randle? All the talk is that it's without Randle. So I think that is the second domino. Jalen Brunson, how big is his impact? Scoring versus assisting and the leadership as well. As we go back out and we see the impact he's had on Dallas, you know, the friendships created there, the impact and being, you know, close to Josh Green, you know, being the closest to him out of any player on the team, you know, him coming in, balling out already in the summer in the Bronx with Obi, with Randle, and that. And I appreciate that from Brunson, right? He's going to just be an excellent teammate and leader up in this thing, right? He's built for this. He's got the experience, and he knows what he's getting into in New York. And of course, his impact on the court. In Begley, this nice piece when he speaks to analytics consultant about his pick and roll play, how much that'll help this team in efficiency as well. One of the most efficient scorers close to the bucket this season for a 6'1" stocky guard as well. So look forward to seeing Brunson's impact. It's immediate, and it's we're seeing it already. Tom Tibbs, whether he stays or goes, slow start, hot start, X's and O's with Rick Brunson up in here with extra pieces to work with. Does he extend the rotation? He should. You know, what pieces is he left with a Spider deal done or not? Well, is interesting. But the key pieces that are staying is the center position, right? Mitch, Hartenstein, and Sims, I think, are all going to be here. Well, so he's building that solid rock foundation close to the basket with that situation. Then on the other end, the point of attack with RJ Brunson getting downhill and possibly quickly still here. Rose as well. So we know he loves elite dribble penetration. He loves defensive rim protection. He loves switchability, though. That's something he won't have with Spider and Brunson. He won't have great switchability with that. With RJ at the 2, Grimes at the 3, those two are switchable, which is great. Well, switchable, there's switchability there with that thing. So yeah, we sort of getting a trend as to what Tom's needing and what he's liking so far. I put the over-under that he stays the year at 50-50 as well. It's tough. It's a ticking situation when a coach is hired as well, because their days are numbered from the day they're hired, basically. And who's going to be the next man? So Tom's aim is to make the playoffs, make the play-in. So look out for this hot start. We need to start well in this crowded East. Kaiser Soze, they will trade for Spider before the season. It will be a multi-team deal with Julius back on the Lakers. That's my biggest thought as to how it happens as well, Kaiser. Yep. The Lakers will help the Knicks out. I think it makes sense with Cam Reddish as well. The Lakers want Cam. And we know the latest that was spoken on was this 3-team deal as well, for salary matching purposes, and also helping the Jazz achieve what they want to achieve, get maximum pieces up in this thing, fam. Because, yeah, when two sides are breaking down, then what do? You need that third team, I think, fam. Yep. So you hit it with that, Kaiser. I agree. I think it'll be before the season, and I think it will be the multi-team deal. Yep. The Lakers are out to make some noise. They just can't sit still right now. David, Randall will gain more trust for RJ and Brunson this year, and hopefully, and already has good chemistry with Evan. All this means better for us. No more Burks lost and confused. Yeah, great points. If Burks is, so if Randall is here, and in terms of the chemistry developed with Evan, that is, if he's still here as well. But yeah, Brunson is the big acquisition, and letting him get Julius in the right spots and letting him run the pick and roll. Yep. There'll be a lot of dribble penetration with secondary action as well, I think. And the fact that Julius won't be burdened with scoring, needing to score 30 a night for us to win, I think he should feel like he doesn't need to take tough shots, tough shots that he's been used to taking, I think, fam. Bronson, the Knicks are in the driver's seat for the Spider trade. Knicks front office will wait until Ainge boy blinks first. Trade will happen in season on our terms as well. I love the sound of that, fam. Just hearing that from you. Yep. And again, there's no need to make it straight away. Be patient up in this thing. We were good the first 2 weeks this year. We can start hot again and stay competitive now. Yeah, absolutely agree. But look for our D to be critical, because our offense is going to be decent now with more options, right? 3 guys that can fill it up for 30 a night. Even Evan, if he's here as well, more than 3-4 guys that can fill it up. And that's options offensively. Obi getting up and down, quickly being a year older. However, defensively is the real swings, this real swing area for me. RJ won't get extension. Knicks front office like to lose money at times. No extension jacks up his next contract. That's an interesting point. Expect RJ to get 21 mil because the Knicks can't offer a deal and make that work out somehow now. Yep. I think RJ's extension does get done during the season. I think we will go into the season. So what's good, Almighty Finesse? Salute. Hope you're well. And Danny has to choose between extra picks or Grimes, but he shouldn't get both. He won't get both. Yeah. I hope Leon holds firm on that, fam. Like you said, if he's getting Grimes, we need to keep some more picks and dip into this year's draft, future drafts, but he shouldn't get both. But I think it's critical we keep Grimes. I really do. Unless Cam Reddish becomes a revelation for us, and Cam Reddish is that wing, for us. I wouldn't be mad. But yeah, we need to hold on to some wings. Why don't they start Obi at the 3? Okay, him and Randall together. I like the idea of more size on the court with Brunson. Fam, that could be what they're looking at. Seriously, with Randall slimming down, perhaps. Randall perhaps slimming down. Maybe even not a lot of minutes, but maybe they want to play like, 10 minutes together more, just to get Obi some more minutes, get him up to 20 plus 20 a night as at the least. So yeah, that could be something to really look out for with that. Yeah, with Star J, I feel like the extension's going to come mid-season. There's kind of no rushes with that situation, and waiting for the next parts of his game, to make that leap. And this young core, it's got us all buzzing. But how much do they get used? What's their role? For me, Mitch is still part of the young core as well. He's probably going to take on the biggest role with RJ. So far, you're going to have Quickly and Obi off the bench. I don't think that's not going to change. And Cam and Deuce will be situational, I think. Yeah, while Evan and Grimes are here, Cam's situational still. Now, I think I would like to see him come in and earn some minutes during preseason, but right now I'd have to say he's situational. Randall needs to work on his passing now, says David. Yep, good points too. He doesn't need to just put up shots only, right? Read the offense better, read the defense, and make those right reads. Get guys easier shots as well. Move the ball like a hot potato as well. I know there's still going to be some isolation. That's inevitable, but let's see less isolation. Basically, we got ISO heavy guys. Let's share the rock and feed the hot hand with that situation. I feel like, and then we'll be tough, man. We'll be tough to guard up in this thing, man. Like really tough with that. So, yeah, and then rounding things out, I can't be high enough on our center situation. I think it was critical to the depth as well. Yep. Yeah, I think it's critical with that situation. And yeah, I think we're definitely going to be needing all these big men. Yep. Needing all these big men and definitely, making some moves out here with the rim protection, and all of that good stuff. Basically, yep. So Mitch got the bag. What do I expect from him? We chatted about it earlier. Double. Yep. Double. And I think, yeah, his rebounding is going to have a huge impact offensively. The best offensive rebounder, one of the best in the game. He's going to get it going, give us second chance points, and in his rim protection, but his free throw shooting. Like, let's get it at 70%, Mitch. Let's get it up there, fam, with that situation. And Isaiah, man, I can't wait to see what he looks like. Man, I'm super hyped for Isaiah and us being needing that stretch 5 big man for so long now. Man, for so long. I've been waiting for this stretch 5 big man. I've even said I want Obi playing 5 a bit, And B Civ got, with or without Mitchell, we still have to put on the shorts. Yep, tie up the laces and play team ball. Yep, facts, right? We can chop up the games and our projections and power rankings, but it's about the chemistry. And I think Brunson's going to have a critical part in that, that on-court leadership. Yep, and absolutely getting it with that situation. And the coaching staff is going to be under the most pressure because Tom Thibodeau has got the most weapons that he's had, I think, since being a coach for the Knicks, basically, even without Spider. And with the roster the way it currently is, I think Tom Thibodeau's got the most weapons, right? Even picking these rotation might be challenging. Let's say if guys really, really impress, in preseason, we got with Detroit, Indy, and Washington, we got Cam Reddish, we got Deuce, might really make an early claim to be more than situational. Maybe D Rose comes in, with an injury, kind of thing and all that. But yeah, I'm glad this preseason is what it is now. There's a nice break between the two Indiana games. That's great. So you get 2 good workouts in, figure things out, game plan how you want to tackle the last 2 games, Indy and Washington, and you prepare for the opening night. You get after it as well. My prediction for opening night, man. You know what? I would absolutely love it if the NBA gave the New York Knicks the Brooklyn Nets on opening night at MSG. Talk about ratings, man. Can you imagine? Things would be absolutely popping with the Nets at Knicks opening night, man. The bing bong, the crowd, the heckling for KD if he's still there, and all of that good stuff, right? Center depth is positive. I really like Sims, but now I don't see how much time he gets yet to continue his development. Yet no lies there. And a Dirty Dancer salute. What's this? Got the Tinder on screen. Get some, my man. Where's that? I'm not seeing no Tinder. Appreciate it. I want to see if Isaiah shooting opens up. Yeah, we'll get Mitch going to open up his offense, man. That's a good point, Canal, too. Nothing like good pressure, healthy pressure out here to work on, man. Improve yourself. With that, I think it's going to be slow steps for Mitch still. If a center like sags off real bad, then I want him to take that little baby J. But let's start with solid free throw shooting first, Let's see him hit some 70%, from the line. I think, yeah. And hey, at least we don't have to rely on Peyton or Burks or Kemba no more. Fam, those days are gone. Let's celebrate, right? We finally got Brunson, we got Rose, we got Quickly, and maybe Spider and Deuce, of course. So, yeah, proper point guard play now for 48 minutes. Yeah. Brunson used to having a big that can shoot. Robinson. Isaiah Hart. Yep. Absolutely, fam. Be funny if Burks gets time at point because Killian Hayes is garbage. I almost forget where Alec Burks is on, fam. Or which team he's on. Almighty Finesse wants the Hawks opening night. Let's get it at MSG. That'd be a good matchup still as well. The F. Trae Young, we know the NBA is going to try to give the Knicks, a juicy matchup, I think, to open things out. They gave us Boston last time. I think Boston's deserved. They've shown that they're looking into a different matchup, maybe Philly, Boston, opening night, Philly, Miami, Boston, Miami, something like that. But yeah, the Hawks. What else could they give us? They could give us the Bulls, Bulls, Knicks, Wizards, Knicks again. The Heat Knicks would be nice, I think. Let's give the Heat Knicks. That'd be nice, yep. Okay, it was about 15 minutes ago. Yep. Astral off the change, salute. Yep. My bad, it was David L's profile pic. Canal, hopefully Randall will be adjusting to whatever new team he's traded to. Yeah, it'll be the Lakers, I feel like it'll be the Lakers or nothing. I'm glad the NBA finally realized that it was too many games being played during the preseason. Yeah, facts. Absolutely facts. I can't imagine that the front office didn't talk to Randall and RJ, maybe even about adding these players before it happened. Julius is on board, no worries. I think so too. Yep. I think he's gonna, if he's here, he's gonna have a bounce back year. Jarvis, salute. What's good? What's good, fam? Yeah, these preseason games are a nice tune-up, but I'm glad there's only 4. So it's like, okay, let's get to business. Let's treat the first one and the last one like it's the start of the season, basically. Because like we just said, the first game opening night is going to be lit. We know it's most likely going to be at MSG. That'll be popping. And I think let's give us the Bulls. Let's give us the Nets, the Hawks, something like that. Yeah, that'd be nice. Right, I won't complain if they give us a nice soft one as well. Give us the Pacers, the Magic, or the Pistons at home. I think to start the season off, that'd be nice. We just need Tibbs to be a better coach in games, Parrish on point, especially with Randall. Yep, absolutely, fam. Tom Thibodeau, one of the biggest talking points all this season. There's so many ways how he works the rotation as well, the X's and O's, and also the intangibles like listening to his assistants, adjustments, all of those things, right? Failure to act or act too slow could be critical with that piece. What do I mean by that? Like, let's say, like he did, let's say he starts Fournier, which is most likely. So let's say it's Brunson, Fournier, Cam or RJ, RJ, Randall, and Mitch. And let's say we start out defensively as almost as bad as last season with Fournier and Brunson. I'm talking switch it up after 7 games, 6 games. Don't wait 15 games to switch things up and bring Quentin Grimes into the starting unit. Basically. CT, do you think Randall will get the memo for being traded, or will they trade him? Will they let him down and tell him gently? Questions. I think they're definitely going to have that talk, or if they already haven't, I think they will talk to him behind the scenes. Yep. Yeah, I think they'll talk to him behind the scenes, and I think he's comfortable on the West Coast. He plays well in Dallas. He plays well on the playing against the Lakers as well. He's always saying, "This is my gym. This is my gym," as well. So yeah, I think I can't really see Randall going out east anywhere. The fans will still be in attendance, as far as I know. So don't expect Randall to give us another outlier season. Yet, I think Randall just has to play within himself. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Be more well-rounded. He doesn't have to, fill it up. Basically, yep. Knicks Nets opening night, book it. Yep. Maybe opening Friday night Knicks, fam. Yep. Nets at MSG with KD all by himself. Let's say that Kyrie's been traded and it's KD by himself, man. That'd be juicy, man. Jarvis with the question, do you think Knicks would try and add Steve Nash to our coaching staff, man? On point, Jarvis. If Steve Nash is let go, I could see that happening, man. I really could. Obviously, he's RJ Barrett's godfather as well. And that would be a nice dig at the Nets, I think, as well. Bringing him in, if he's let go, bringing him in to work with our guards and Brunson and and RJ as well, having his godfather here as well. You know, the Knicks all about relationships and family. You know, with Rick, with the Jalen, with Tibbs. That's an interesting one with Steve Nash, fam. That's insane. Also, talk about ironic. Remember, like I said earlier in the show, let's say Nash is let go, KD's let go as well. Imagine if they brought Kenny Atkinson back. You know, he was there to start up what he did, start up again what he did before, what he had going. You know, he turned down a move to go to Charlotte Hornets to stay with Golden State. But could that entice him to go back to Brooklyn and start that all over again? I don't know. So KD by himself on Nets opening day, Ben Simmons asked for a trade. Yep, asked for a trade. Yep, David. Yep, absolutely. Fair. Yep. You know what? I don't think Simmons will even be healthy. He'll probably still have the back complaint. Kaiser expect Randall averaging 18 and 7. Yep, that's realistic too. In fact, I do think he's probably going to average more than 18 still. I think he'll still get his shots. He'll still get his fouls. He'll still be a focal point of the offense. But yeah, maybe 20, 21, 21 and 6, 21 and 7 kind of thing. Yep. Straight family connection. Be Siv and Jarvis. Yep, absolutely, man. Rick with Jalen and Steve Nash with RJ. And then Johnny Bryant with Spider Mitchell. How about that? Complete that threesome. That three package of family connections, man. Salute, salute, salute. P nice up in the house. Hope everyone's enjoying it, having fun up in here. Forget the back. Ben Simmons ain't even healthy mentally. Yep. You're right, man. He's lost his ways, unfortunately, man. He has so much talent, did Ben Simmons. I think, yeah, him and that Philly situation was just that can eat you up. If you're a young player, not mentally strong, the Philly situation was tough. Joel and him weren't good fits. I think Joel Embiid needed another better offensive player, and Ben Simmons just wasn't that. We all know what it's like as the Knicks to run your offense through your best player being a center. You know, for so many years, Patrick Ewing, you know, he can't create offense. You know, Joel Embiid is a great offensive player, but he can't really create offense all the time, all day, every day. And Ben Simmons just ain't that offensive player. So, yeah, Philly, they tried to surround them with shooters, you know, with those guys, but it was just not a great fit. I think they should have moved one or two of them, one or the other, you know, 2 years ago. After the heartbreaking loss to the Raptors, where the ball bobbled and rimmed out for forever. I think they should have moved on from Embiid or Simmons back then. Well, but yeah, now they got Harden and Simmons, Harden and Embiid, and Simmons. Yeah, I don't see him sticking around in Brooklyn either, especially if they blow it up and they trade, you know, they trade KD with that thing. So right, yeah, it's going to be crazy to see the rest of this offseason still hasn't played out yet. But I'm loving what we have going right now, you know, what we have building with this thing, you know, with the talking points going on. And, you know, the respect we're getting, a bit of respect from ESPN, NBA.com up in this thing. Salute 007 Angelo. Salute to CT and chat. Ben Simmons' back problem is that he has no backbone. Man. It's tough, right? It's a funny situation with Brooklyn, right? Three dudes with suspect character, I think, basically, and their will with KD, Kyrie, and Ben, man. with that situation. It's tough. But yeah, the Nets Knicks opening night, that would be perfect for me. That would be a home run if the NBA scheduled Nets at Knicks opening night. Well, let's just start it off early. Let's just throw it down straight away. No beating around now, right? The battle in the Big Apple. You know, they're well aware of the Knicks made upgrades. You know, Jalen Brunson. It'd be a nice storyline for them to hype up. You know, returning, whether it's Kyrie, Simmons versus Jalen Brunson and the Knicks and co. Right? Or like I said, I like the Bulls. I think that's a good matchup too. You know, they're bringing back Lonzo, Caruso, Zach LaVine. I think the Bulls at Knicks opening night will be tidy. Or the Hawks at Knicks as well. We play the Wizards in the last game of the preseason, so I hope they don't do that. Hornets, not too exciting. Pistons, Magic, Pacers, not too exciting either. I think they want a juicy East matchup. I can't see them giving us the Raptors. The Heat, maybe. The Sixers and Bucks, I don't think. I think they're going to match the Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, and the Heat. I think they're going to match those four teams together for the opening nights. And I think that just narrows it down, fam. It just makes common sense. Nets and Knicks. Let's make it happen. You know, the schedule's going to drop in just a couple of days, early next week. And these are the leaks that we know so far. The Lakers at Warriors, and the on opening night with the ring ceremony. And then we got Dallas and LeBron, Lakers at Dallas with LeBron and Luka, Christmas Day. And then we got the Memphis Warriors. So yeah, Dallas Lakers, Memphis Warriors, Christmas Day. So I still expect the Knicks to be on Christmas Day again. Maybe Knicks and Hawks again. What about you guys think about that? Would you sign up for a Hawks at Knicks Christmas Day again? Let's put the beat down on Trey. Donovan Green, salute. What's good? David, I am mad that Toronto didn't make the playoffs when we was ranked 4. Then we got Kemba, fell off now. We got Brunson. I don't care about their Shooter Barnes. Let's go. Yep. Nick Yak, who's the number one option, whatever that means, besides last second shots? I think we have 3 number 2 options, which means we don't really have a number 1 still, Fem. I think it's just got to be by committee. I really do. I think, but if I have to pick, I would pick Brunson now. I think, yeah, no shade at Randall at all. You gotta give Brunson that shine. You know, starting point on a Western Conference finalist, right? The Robin to Luka, isolation heavy, put up 40 points in a Western Conference playoff game. So for me, if I have to pick one by default, Brunson is the number 1 option. He should have the ball in his hand. He can make the call whether or not he needs to use the pick, play pick and roll, get dribble penetration, kick out, you know, get a foul, try to get contact, all of those things. I trust him with the ball more than I trust anybody else. Basically Nick Yak. That's what it comes down to, I think. Who do you trust the most with the ball in their hands down the stretch? It's got to be Brunson number 1 for me, Derrick Rose, and then Randall RJ. You know, they will get their last minute shots. Definitely, you know, Brunson will still kick the ball out if he doesn't like where the shot's going, he'll kick it out. But I like the ball in his hands, you know, down the stretch. He can create something, you know, he can make something happen. You know, if it's a broken play or play breaks down and he doesn't know what's going to happen, he can isolate still. He can step back and shoot. He can get to the cup, get fouled. He can kick out. You know, he can do all of those things. Randall's decision making, I don't trust that. I don't trust that. His best move is try to bully his way to the cup, and if the defense shuts that off, it'll be a step back, contested mid-range, and clank. We all know what that happens, when the buzzer sounds and we have to go back to overtime because Julius Randle forced a herky-jerky, fade away with 3 hands in his face kind of thing. So you guys tell me, what do you think about the number one options? If D Rose is back, let's hope he's healthy and he's going to be back to closing some games out as well with that second unit. I wouldn't be mad at no Brunson, Rose, RJ closing lineup, or Brunson, Rose, Grimes, RJ, Randall or Mitch kind of thing as well. Go super small with that. Yep. 007 Angelo. Yep. Absolutely. Character issues, right? Chemistry is what we're building, right? I spoke about it early in the show. Jalen Brunson is not only talent we're bringing in, but he's the glue guy as well. He's going to be the glue between the existing stars and vets, the coaching staff, and young players as well. As he took, he's with Josh Green and close to him, young players in the Dallas Mavericks really looked up to him. And of course, he's balling out with Obi and Randall in the Pro Sum City circuit. Well, so Brunson's that top teammate we've been looking for in the locker room and off the court, in the court as well. Yep. Randall mid-range had decent percentage. It was mainly his 3. Yeah, that's true too. His threes, he regressed significantly, Nick Yak. 31% on the threes. Yep. Mid-range decent when he gets a good look. Well, look, Randall's still a mid-range sniper when he gets a good look and he's open, but he forces it a lot. That's the issue. He forces it, and a lot of them are contested. And how could I forget Canal? The patented 4 pump fakes on an undersized shooting guard. Yep. 4 to 5 pump fakes, right? And then the shot clock expires as well. And we have to go to overtime. Canal. He finally gets the shot up, but it's half a second too late. And it goes in, but we still have to go to overtime. Or 4 pump fakes and Kyrie strips the ball, right? And he gets called for a travel, even though Kyrie strips the ball. B, if we play the right way, New York should make some noise. I'm talking shock everyone. Take it back to when we was not on the radar, and besides Tibbs, haven't had 2 losing seasons in a row, period. Yeah, I think this season we got all the right makeup, fam, to compete. I'm not trying to overhype us too, because I'm mindful of that. But looking at these teams in the East, man, I could easily see us competing with the Bulls, Hawks, Raptors, Nets, Cavs, Wiz. I think the top 4 is kind of set. Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, Heat. But then anywhere from 5 down to 11, 5 to 11, 12 is going to be the East great unknown. From the Raptors, Bulls, Nets, Hawks, Cavs, Knicks, Wiz, Hornets. It's going to be in all different orders. In fact, I'll probably cut the Hornets out. No shade at the Hornets, but without Miles Bridges, with that mess still to play out, I give the next tier to cut off at 11 with the Wiz. With that, I trust RJ over Randall, but I'm right. CT, yeah, Brunson should be the number 1 option. Yep, appreciate that. Yeah, and look, yeah, it could be different on each night. But Brunson, Rose, and RJ Randall, yeah, like that. Yeah, with shooting, Grimes and Fournier. He stops attacking the paint like he is burned out after 15 shots, or stop taking more than 15 shots on the last 10, not 6 if the three slow Randall. Yep. That is the issue too. Getting gassed, playing less minutes is going to be key, fam. Like, there's no excuse with a mature third year Obi Toppin now. The 8th overall selection is going to his 3rd year. He should be ready to play 25 a night, at least. So Randall don't have to play 40 minutes no more, 38 minutes no more, right? I want Randall around 33, 34 minutes. Basically, I'm keeping it a buck. I want him fresh daily, each and every night, to be able to run up and down quickly. I'm talking maximum effort from Julius. Just reduce his minutes. Kaiser Brunson going to have the ball in his hands a lot. And I see him taking as many shots as he wants. He will have the green light. Yep. I like that situation too. For this current team, he's the player I trust the most, Kaiser. And he hasn't even played a game with the Knicks yet either, I think. And who knows, RJ could be ready this season too. He could surprise us and take a lot more last minute shots. But they are a little bit more one-dimensional. If I have to, if I have to give them any kind of knock, Julius and RJ are a bit too one-dimensional. Whereas Jalen Brunson, like you said, he's a bit better in the isolation. Crafty, he's quicker. He could blow by his guy. He could step back and hit it. He's proven that. He could continue all the way to the cup, kick it out, do a couple pivots, a couple up and under moves, all those kind of herky-jerky things that Brunson can do. So he has a little bit more in his arsenal. But I'm not trying to say he's no ISO king. But out of all the guys, I think Brunson brings a bit more options, to the team. He could pull up off the dribble and dagger the three, or he could dribble, penetrate, step back, take it to the cup, do a little fancy move there as well. So yeah. David, his shot selection gets worse as the game goes on, and he's frustrated too. Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah, when he tried to be the king, right, and take over and do his thing. I think, yeah. Coach Henry, salute. I do like IQ in the clutch as well. Yep. Also, that's one thing I've spoken about too with IQ. He has to allow the game to play out, not let that rush of blood go to his head and pull up from the logo. I know IQ can hit that, and he's clutch in some of these situations where he just pulls up with ice in his veins. But yeah, he needs to just be a little bit more reserved with doing that, I think, because that can be a momentum killer at times when we're clawing our way back into the game. IQ might bring it up and he feels like, hey, I'm ready to pull up from the logo with this thing. Absolutely. Let's get it. B. I see Brunson having the screen light as well to run the team and shoot. I'm hoping he's able to facilitate and help RJ and Randall's efficiency. E. Gibson on point there. Yep. Julius and RJ had the worst efficiency, but I agree. I think Brunson will help. I think he will help them with getting easier looks, easier catch and shoot as well. Yep. Talking about the defense collapsing and keying in on Jalen as well. And you know what? Let's not underrate the fact that our point guard rotation is Jalen Brunson and Derrick Rose. Like that's solid. That's above solid. Now finally, we have 48 minutes of above solid, good point guard play. Now, guys that can have the defense on their heels, backstepping, second guessing, guys that can pull up from three, can dribble, can pass, yeah, all of that. And of course, IQ still Deuce and possibly Spider Mitchell. So there is the options now to run different actions now and create mismatches. But yeah, like 007 hits, Brunson's going to be able to unlock Mitch more as well. Oop City at MSG in the Mecca. It's going to be off the chain. exciting, man. Well, yep. I think that energy opening night with Jalen Brunson coming in, Mitch coming in paid, whoever else is coming in with RJ and the rest of the crew and our center depth. Now, I think it's just going to be a fun night in the Garden, opening night, man. I hope it's the Heat or I hope it's the Nets now. If it's not the Nets, I hope it's the Heat. Well, give me the Heat opening night. I would not be mad at that. Also, with that talk with the Raptors, there's still talk that you require vaccination now. So you still require vaccination to travel to Toronto. Now, that doesn't affect the Knicks to my knowledge, but we know it affects some other teams. 3 threes all in a row, all bricks. Randall not fighting for a bucket with pull-ups. Yeah, I think Randall's second efforts need to improve as well. If he misses a shot, I want him to go back down the other end and give maximum effort. Fam, maximum effort on the other side of the floor, right? That'll get fans respect. That'll get fans real juiced up, right? If Randall's more cognizant, giving effort both ways, a two-way effort, I think, with that situation, right? That's what I want to see from Randall, not letting his offense dictate his effort on D as well. Which clutch shots of Quickly's is your favorite? I will wait. Quickly's clutch shots, probably the first game in Atlanta against Atlanta, I'd say. I think it was game one of the playoffs 2 seasons ago. It wasn't really down the stretch of the game, but it was when momentum was shifting. I can't remember Jalen messing up getting double. Is he good under double teams? Good question. He is good. He is good at passing it out. Make no mistake. He's not a guy that's going to force it. He's 6'1". There's been a couple times I saw in the Utah series for Dallas, and he did do the dribble to the cup, pull up on a dime, realize that he couldn't get the shot off, pivot a couple times to try to get an open look, and then just kick it out to the corner. I think there was a few times. So he's not going to be forcing a lot. Yeah, he forces a few shots, because he is still isolation, but he's more open to kicking it on. I think definitely kicking it out. And Sean says, CT, the two biggest problems are shooting and players who don't like to share the rock. Yeah, on point. The two biggest problems are last season were the shooting. Yep. And players who don't like to share because we didn't have the options. I think Sherwin last season was Randall and RJ, and it was limited options. Now they're going to be more willing. Yeah. And then, you want to bring up Randall's D. I'm talking about his effort, basically. I think his effort can be dictated by his offense at time. And I know he's not known as being a defender as well. All we want to see is maximum effort as well. Run down the floor as fast as he possibly can to create a disruption. Basically, that's all we need from Randall. He's not known as a defender, but give his maximum effort, and so that we can cause a loose ball, a tip ball, and things like that. I think, and fans will get behind that a lot more. So, ready for this season to drop. It's scheduled to drop in a matter of days. We got the leaks today as well. Some of the news. Hopefully, we get our leak. We might even get our opening night leak from one of the Knicks beat writers. I've got a feeling tomorrow or the day after. I think as more leaks start to come out, we know the Knicks are a juicy one. Look out for Mark Stein, Bondi, Begley, Berman, somebody to leak out a Knicks lineup as well. Woj, Shams, well, that's coming. Look out for more buzz from Brunson as well, as I chopped up with his former teammate, Jalen Green, and he paid us some shout outs on his Instagram. Jalen Brunson, character guy, good teammate. He's going to be great for New York Knicks, both on and off the court for years to come. It's very exciting to get behind now. We finally don't have no revolving door at point guard each and every year. Brunson's going to be here for, I'll be shocked if he doesn't finish his whole contract as a Knick, So I can get behind that now. Stability, finally. So let's get ready to enjoy this season as more news comes as well. It's been fun chopping this thing up. B says very limited, CT. We had players playing the game of ball wrong and asking them to do too much of what they make up is. Yeah, of what their makeup is. Yeah, absolutely spot on there. Yep. Roster balance, construction is key, and getting guys playing to their strengths. Right, that's what Brunson's going to do. He'll have the ball in his hand. He'll decide what the defense is going to do. Julius pick and roll action. There'll be Mitch pick and roll. There'll be dribble penetration, more kickouts as well. More balanced scoring, I feel like, as well. Anyone expecting RJ to come out and score 30 a night now this season, that's not going to be happening. That's not going to be happening. I think Brunson is going to be our first or second leading scorer with RJ and Brunson with RJ and Randall, sharing it on each given nights as well. I know RJ can go off on any night, and he will, but I just don't see him being, reaching those kind of levels of scoring now with Brunson here. I think it's going to be a bit more by committee, but the offense is going to flow. That's going to be great. It's going to flow. It's going to be more moving of the ball movement, and more high efficiency, better shot selection, all of those things to look out for and be excited about. And our big mans are going to benefit big time from Obi, Randall, Mitch, Isaiah Sims, and everyone else out here as well. So got me absolutely buzzing. Appreciate you all. Best chat in the biz. Let's get it on the next one as we continue to chop this thing up. Look out for some schedule leaks to come through. You already know what it is. Peace, prosperity. The streets are buzzing.